All right, hey everyone, Christian, Angel, what's up? And here we have Jaime and Sonia. Jaime and Sonia were on the Eboard with me last year, my sophomore year. Amazing people. And right now they're in their gap years. And so they're going to talk a little bit about their experiences. And basically, yeah, just ask them any questions that you guys have as things come up. We'll do the same. And yeah, let's get it going.
Hello,
Let's
everyone.
go first.
Sonia, and then Jaime, my partner over there, my what's it called? My president back in 2020, 2021 term. Do you want to go first and then I'll go after you with your mini presentation?
Of course.
Okay, cool.
Oh, could you give me a or screen sharing permission?
Okay. You should be able to do it now. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, is the audio good? Okay. Yeah, so let's start. It's all animated. So my journey. Yeah, so first, who am I? Yeah, so first I came from UAC. Yeah, I graduated here. I went to UAC from 2017 to 2021 when I graduated. I had a major in biological sciences, a minor in Spanish. Yeah, so my like this is like non-academic related, but like my favorite anime is one of my favorite anime is My Hero Academia. More anime. And another really big one that I recommend everybody to see is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. If you like rock and roll bands and all that, all the heroes and bad guys in here are references to that.
Hi man, never knew you liked the anime. We should have more conversations about that.
Yeah, and then the next image, mentor. So I added that image because I really like mentoring people. Like yeah, like if you have any questions about anything like medical school or just like in general, like if you need help or anything, I'm always willing to help. Yeah, something that I got involved with recently was basketball. I started playing basketball more recently. Soccer I've been playing since I was like 3 years old, 4 years old. I'm also a really big gamer. I recently got an Atari and started playing some of the classics. And working out. So I was like working out like when I was in high school, but I didn't really get into it until I graduated from college. And so far it's been like really beneficial, like overall, like it's boosted my energy and all that, and like I've lost lots of weight because of that. So overall lots of benefits. Okay, so now more of like what I'm currently doing. Yeah, so right now, for this image, let's see. Okay, so this image right here, you see the brain? That's basically the research that I'm working on right now. It's in the psychiatry building in UIC, in Dr. Burkhouse's lab, the FAM lab. And basically what I do on a day-to-day basis, I analyze this data and get rid of like any artifacts. And artifacts are basically like any noises that you hear in the background. And EEG data is basically electrical data that you collect from the brain. We basically use this cap that we put on the brain, and we have like participants do a trial on the computer, and it's supposed to make them like feel different emotions, and we can see those emotions in these EEG waves. Yeah, so Las Ganas, that's one of the big things. I got involved with this research because of Las Ganas, and I applied to it in 2016, like when I was in high school. And so far, it's been really beneficial. I got a full-time job in my research lab because of this. Community help, another big thing. That's one thing that I haven't like stopped doing. I continue to interpret. This organization, like it helps people like Polish and people from the Hispanic community. Like if they can't speak with their medical provider, they provide us basically interpreters so we can help like make their visit much easier, like to understand what the physician is saying, all that, like make their appointment go much more smoothly. Yeah, and UI Health, another thing that I volunteer in, you basically, when you apply for this, you could work in the, you have to work in the greeters and wayfinders department first, which is basically greeting the people like around the hospital and telling them where everything is and like helping them out, like find their way. And after that, they give you the opportunity to work in the volunteer in like the what is it, like the oncology department, or in I believe the ER now. That's a new thing. You work in the emergency department. And Erie House. This organization, like it's basically a after schools program. They help mentor students in math, science, reading, and writing. So you could volunteer to be a mentor and help them do their homework and all that. A really, really fun organization to be part of. Yeah, and right now I'm currently learning to drive the ambulance. That's why I put that image there. So in the near future, right now I'm planning to work in the what's it called? One of the ambulances. I think it's Elite. That's the one I'm gonna work in August. And in the future, something that I realized like while working as an EMT is that like overall throughout my clinicals and being in the emergency department, like all the time, like transporting patients to and from their residence to the ER, is that like what I've heard from the EMTs and like what I've experienced from the doctors is that nurses like are the main point of contact that patients have with that when they're in the hospital. And what I've just realized is like if I want to become a doctor, I'm like my point of view is like I really want to learn a little bit of everything about the hospital, and I decided like to try nursing for a bit. And yeah, like I just realized like lots of responsibility in the hospital. Like I guarantee like 80% of the time the patient will be with the nurse. That's how you get the most patient to patient contact. The doctor just comes into the room like 5 or even like 1 minute just to tell the nurse what to do basically for the day, and they leave. And the nurse is mostly the person who gets contact with them. And I feel like if I want to become a doctor, I have to learn to be more appreciative like of everybody in the ER, not just be like what I heard from like from the EMTs, like lots of doctors is bossy. They just told the nurses what to do, and they're really like rude. And I don't want to be that type of doctor. I really want to understand what their each position is going through. I really want to like understand them to like yeah, like to be like the more comprehended doctor, like more understanding. Yeah, and my end goal is to go to medical school in the UIC. I know this is like a long career type of thing, but like it's one that I'm willing to embark on because I really want to experience the full side of the health field. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. Questions? There's my email. Yeah, there you go.
I think that Sonia can present, and then like we'll ask questions to like the both of you.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Let me pull up my PowerPoint and share it. It says host disabled participate screen sharing. Can somebody give me access?
Jonathan should be on it right now.
Okay, there it is. Okay, can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm Sonia. Many of you know me because I was part of the Eboard last year. But for those who don't know me, I'm Sonia. I am a proud Mexican American and Chicagoan. I am the eldest of 3 siblings, and I have 2 younger brothers. One's 15 and one's 19. I am a big White Sox and Chicago Bulls fan. Some things I like doing is painting. I like visiting museums here in the city, and I like going to the gym and staying physically active. Something that I can also relate to what Jaime said is that the gym really helps me relieve a lot of the stressors that I encounter throughout my day or throughout my life. And I feel like the gym has been, I guess, a great coping mechanism for me in terms of like getting my workout done, releasing those endorphins, and getting on with my day. Because when I don't, I feel very fatigued and very tired. So I try to stay physically active as much as I can. Obviously, life happens and we have assignments and projects to do, which sometimes we can't make it to the gym, but for the most part, I think I try going. I am a recent graduate. I graduated my bachelor's degree in neuroscience from UIC. I got a minor in Spanish for the health professions. And currently, like I told you guys, I'm a graduate student at Roosevelt University pursuing my master's of science in biology. And something that I'm currently doing is I'm being an active volunteer at the food pantry for the Greater Chicago Food Depository that I didn't know about till I started taking a nutrition class at Roosevelt. And that's how I got exposure to it. So that's what I've been up to. And then this is just a meme, life after college. I still don't know what I'm doing some days, but we keep pushing through. Some volunteer opportunities that I wanted to talk to you guys about is this one. Oh my God, was I presenting like this? Sorry. Okay, there we go. Volunteer opportunities. So the Greater Chicago Food Depository is a great way to get involved. Community health, like Jaime is part of it too. I was part of it too, but I took a small break just because I had personal issues going on in my life. I lost some family members recently, so I put that on hold. But they made it very clear that you can always come back once you're ready to volunteer. I think it's great exposure to the clinical setting. You get to interact with nurses, nurse practitioners, physicians, and you interpret English, Spanish to English, English to Spanish. You help remove that language barrier in the clinical setting for low-income patients and people that go there that oftentimes don't have insurance or they need help. So that's really nice. I volunteered at Advocate Illinois Masonic Center. It's really close to UIC. I think it's a 15-minute or a 20-minute drive from UIC. And it's basically like UI Health. You do a lot of wayfinding stuff at first, and then you start doing like clinical rotations where you like get assigned a department in whatever you want to participate in. I know one of my friends did the NICU, so she was doing clinical rotations there, and she was mostly like interacting with nurses, making sure everything's stocked up in the rooms that they needed. She took care of babies. I did oncology, and to be honest, I did not really enjoy it. It was very quiet, not much going on. The nurses were very serious, the physicians were very serious. And then one day I got the opportunity to go to the NICU and be with the pregnant ladies and the obstetrics and gynecology physicians, and they were more like happy and willing to talk to you about anything related to school or outside school. What is work life like? Another great volunteer opportunity that I was part of during my undergrad career at UIC is the Bank of America Chicago Marathon. A lot of you guys probably know about this one. We do it every year, and it's a nice way to get involved. If you don't have anything going on that weekend, it'd be nice to volunteer there. I also volunteered at the Pilsen Food Pantry. It was only a one-time thing through Medicina Scholars, but I heard great things about it. I know they do food, and I think now they do like hygiene, and I think they're trying to incorporate like giving out clothes to people that are in need. So that would be a great idea to volunteer. UI Health, I didn't personally volunteer, but like Jaime said, there's great opportunities there for you guys to get involved. And yeah, Kratos for Crayon, I think you volunteered in it, right, Jaime?
Yes.
Kratos. Yeah, so he can tell you a bit about that. I didn't do it personally either, but these are all great resources for you guys to get involved and get your volunteer hours in, so you can apply to medical school whenever you do decide to. And lastly, medical mission trips with LPMSA, MedLife. They're great opportunities to get that experience outside the US and see how healthcare is outside the US in those countries. And that's about it. Any questions? I didn't have much, but
I guess the question that I do have is, for example, when you're doing all these volunteer things, are you volunteering in these things at the same time, or do you dedicate, for example, like maybe 3 months to one thing, then move on to the next, or is you just doing it all at the same time?
For the most part, I tend to stick to my volunteer stuff. I don't like doing things temporary, like for 3 months. I think
Okay.
it's about if med schools see that you're doing something long term. So I definitely did community health for like 2 years, and like I said, I'm taking a gap just because I'm busy with school and some personal stuff came up. But yeah, I tend to try to sticking to them as long as I can, especially if I do enjoy them and the environment is healthy to learn and thrive in. But I don't recommend like jumping from volunteer opportunities, if especially if you're not gonna be there long term.
Okay.
But what about you, Jaime?
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, definitely stay with the opportunity. Like, even if you might not like it, I guess if you don't really like it at all, then you can leave. But if you find some interest in it, like general interest, stay in there like 3 or 4 months. And if you want to stay there longer, great. But don't just like jump around like from opportunity to opportunity.
Thank you.
So what are some of your like biggest takeaways from undergrad? Since I know both of you guys are like recent, graduates, like what's, I don't know, like a life lesson kind of.
I guess a life lesson like college, since it's only 4 years and it passed by really quick. For me, I'd say is that pretty much it's just like life, it passes by really quick. But as long as you take a hold of the things that you like and you do them, then it'll seem longer. It'll make your life like last longer, if that makes sense.
For me, I think I have maybe like two or three, or maybe just two. I don't know. So I think the first one is organize yourself well so you don't stress too much about things, because I know I often missed family gatherings, which is fun, which is fine. But sometimes it did hurt to stay back and not enjoy those moments with our family because we didn't plan ahead, or we pushed it for last minute, or weren't aware of the assignment that was due. So I feel like I missed out hanging out with family in that sense, which they did tell us once you start pursuing a pre-med career, it's very demanding and school comes for the most part first. But yes, make time for your family, definitely, because people pass away, people go, and you don't get that time back. So definitely that one. And the next one would be get involved in very early on during your undergrad career, because you really need to show medical schools, what you did, and also like you need to be passionate about what you're doing, not just checking things off like a list of things you have to complete. So if you're doing it, it's because you feel passionate about and because you want to be involved in it, and not just to say you're part of it. So meaningful experiences, I'd say, search for those very early on in your undergrad career.
And this goes for both of you guys. Have you guys experienced like a toxic pre-med culture at UIC? And if so, like what are ways in which like you handle the situations where, like, I don't know, you're just around people that aren't really, supportive. Like this could be in terms of like other classmates or even advisors who don't really give the best advice.
Well, I feel like there is, like you said, maybe a certain level of I guess being toxic in terms of like the environment, the pre-med environment at UIC. I did experience it a bit, but I try not to let it get to me. A lot of the times these advisors say things, but you know what you're capable of, you know what you can do and what you can't do. So don't let them deter you from pursuing a career you're interested in. So, definitely knowing yourself and knowing what route you want to take and what's best for you. And if you're really passionate about pursuing a career in medicine and all that stuff, I think you really have to know yourself at a deeper level and understand where you're coming from and where you want to go. So you don't get so you don't get confused with all those advices that they're giving you. And in terms of classmates, oftentimes, yeah, I did encounter classmates like, oh, why are you pursuing that career? It's super long, you shouldn't do it. But at the end of the day, it's like, I'm the one pursuing it, not them. And I'm the one taking the classes, not them. And I'm the one putting in the work and not them. So it's like, why are you so pressed? Like, relax. This is not you, this is me. So just having that clear mentality helps a lot to navigate these things in life and after graduation too.
Yeah, I say definitely, like when I was like taking courses, like there's also people like who they just think of like pre-med students as like everybody's like they're all enemies. Like they like, since they're all like, like medical school like only like a small amount of people, they think that pre-med students are just like they're constantly fighting each other. That's not the case. It's a community. Like like the people that I hang out with, like they generally want to help each other. They don't like want to be like oh, I'm gonna be the one who gets accepted to like 10 medical schools and you like not get accepted to any of them. Like that's like if I saw those types of people, which I did like in some organizations, like just stood away from them, because it's just like bad for your health. And like Sonia said, at the end of the day, it's like it's you who you're putting all the work in.
Thank you.
I guess one specific example was that I did experience was, I don't want to say names because maybe you guys might know them, but I'm not that type of person. But I did experience that sometimes I would need help and I would often go to Lopez because I know he has there's a really good tutor named Jose. And some classmates would like, they knew that I was struggling and they consistently like did not let me ask my questions because they were like asking question after question after question and they were getting all the help. And I was like, hey, what are you doing? Like, it's my turn, I need help too. And it was like very greedy in a way. So I didn't like that. And like Jaime said, if you notice that, just stay away from it. It's not even worth pursuing and like, arguing or just stay away from that toxic environment. Do you and find your resources, find your community and your friends that are supportive of you all the time.
I have a question. Thank you for sharing so far, Sonia and Jaime. It's been really great to hear what you guys have had to say so far. But I guess just like in terms of keeping track of like something that you found to be meaningful, whether that be with like your academic life, your involvement on campus or outside of campus, or even that you found to be personally meaningful. What do you each do or have done to sort of like keep track of that for yourself, and so that you can sort of look back at it for like the long term, if that makes sense?
I'm sorry, can you clarify or like repeat the question? Like, I don't
Yeah,
understand.
yeah. So I guess just generally, I think my question is like, what do each of you do just to like keep track of something that you found to be like meaningful, but may have been like experienced like way before, you know what I mean? Like years or maybe months before. Or even in the present, just like keeping track of those things, if that makes sense.
So as I know, at least for me, I journal. I try to journal every day. And if there's some like memorable experience that I had that day, I'm sure to write that down. And on those days where I'm just like, oh, like I wonder what happened. Like, I don't know, I started journaling in 2019. So then sometimes if I'm curious, I look back and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that. And this is what I learned from it. And, you know, kind of reflect on it now, just with the daily journaling that I do. And just, I don't know, take 5 minutes and kind of think about what happened there, why was it meaningful, like what did I learn from it. That's how it kind of sticks for me to make it more memorable in the long term.
I guess for me too, I recently started journaling not too long ago. I want to say like 3 months ago. And it helps me really cope with my emotions of what like I'm experiencing that day. But I tend to like write it down and let it all out in piece of paper and not care about the grammar. But I actually never go back and read it, which would be interesting to go back and hear myself, through my writing to see how I was expressing myself and I was coping with the day. But yeah, I journal. Some things that I also like to do, I guess, to keep something meaningful to I guess to live on is like pictures. When you're doing activities, whether it's like going to the food pantry, meeting new people, you take a selfie or a picture, and then you see these things accumulate over the years of all these activities you've been doing, and it's like memorable to look back to those pictures and say, oh, this is when I went to the medical mission trip, this is when I did to the food pantry, this is when I was in LPMSA. So it really like motivates you, and it's like a little tearing moment, like, wow, I've gone this far, I guess that's what I like to keep too.
I'd say from my end, it would be both journaling and just keeping in contact with friends and family, like that because they're supportive and they like remember you like the tough times that you've been through. They could like, and they help you through that. Like you all, you're all my friends, like that. Like just keeping in contact, like that's like that like that helps your health. Like just like it gives you the reason to keep on going and not give up.
Thank you.
Yes, I agree. Like LPMSA is like a little family. And I'll always have a lot of love for it, because I started there my first year as a freshman and I grew a lot and I met wonderful people. So I think something I'll always cherish. But yeah.
This goes for both of you. And now that you're in your gap years, how do you schedule your day now that you don't have, well, I mean, Sonia, you do have class. Like, how do you schedule it compared to when you were at UIC? But then also with Jaime, like, how do you schedule it in being full-time, researching, and then also doing like, volunteering?
That's a great question. So like you said, I'm more like on the school side. So I don't think it's super complicated to schedule around it. You attend class when you have class. For the most part, I try waking up early to probably get some physical activity in, just because if I leave it towards the end of the day, I end up doing nothing. So I go to the gym, have light breakfast and then head to class, come back and start studying for, upcoming assignments or exams that I might have, just like you would in undergrad. That hasn't changed. But I think I have more free time than I did at UIC, because at UIC I was always in school. It's always school. But as a graduate student, you have a little more, free time, a little more cushion time where you can like hang out with friends, family, and just talk to people, and you're not always on the go or like on the clock, because you're a graduate student. You have some, I don't want to say, yeah, it's a bit more laid back, I want to say. So you can catch coffee with a friend and it's not so hectic. But yeah, it's not that bad. Not like undergrad years. We're like running up and down all the time.
Yeah, say for me, like since I have like full-time research, I do similar things to Sonia. Like I get up, I work out, I do the work for the day, and then for the rest of the day, like a week before, I try like set up like time blocks. It's like this time I'm gonna use for reading, this time I'm gonna use for a nap, this time I'm gonna use for like for watching for anime or playing video games and all that. Like that really helps out like just playing out the times, like and just like playing out your day to make sure you use up the whole day.
So
Thanks,
do you
guys.
guys take like any like rest days? Because I know, like for example, like sometimes I'll take like a mental health day here and there, like just like once or twice a semester, just because it is pretty hectic in undergrad. So like, how do you guys like go about doing that like, for yourselves? So like to prevent burnout?
I guess for me, at UIC, I was always stressed, but now I feel like I've gotten a little better with time management and meeting deadlines and planning ahead. So I don't feel as stressed, but I know at UIC, I felt a lot of the times guilty because I was out doing things when I should be studying. Your head gets to you. But now it's more relaxing, and I do take self-care days. I try hanging out with, my mom. Me and her are really close. So we go out and have dinner or something like that. Self-care days, like, I don't know, doing your skincare routine. I'm really into that. So that's usually Sundays. But nothing too crazy, I want to say. Hanging out with people that are meaningful to me.
Yeah, for me, something that I've been doing like since I guess pretty much since kindergarten, like I've always used Saturdays as my day to like rest every week. Even I kept it up through college. I didn't think I was gonna be able to, but I did. On Saturday would be the day like I would hang out with friends, family. Like even if I know I had to do like that 10-page paper that was due like the next week or that. I would just take Saturday to relax. Because we do need like I take every now and then like just to relax and rest the mind. If not, we're just gonna burn out.
So now that you guys are both like post grad, is there something that you learned in undergrad that you feel like you're gonna carry with you for the rest of your like academic life or even like personal life? Or I know because I know like someone asked a similar question earlier, so maybe I don't know if to make it easier, like is there something that you regret like you could have learned sooner as an undergrad that like now that you know about it, it kind of like makes things much easier?
Oh, yes. So always read your syllabus. When I was an undergrad, I kid you not, sometimes I was like, oh, it's the syllabus. I looked through the first 3 weeks and then ignore the rest. But I think something I would have wanted to learn more to be more organized, I guess, starting college as a freshman at UIC, getting organized and reading the syllabus and preparing for what's to come during the weeks ahead. I feel like I've gotten a lot better as a graduate student than I did as an undergrad. So helps out a lot to read the syllabus, know what's coming, know the dates of assignments. So get in the habit of like planning and organizing yourself to have time to do things that you love and enjoy.
And I'd say like just relax. Just relax. Like don't worry about like too many things. Like even though you might have like that paper that's due like in a couple of days or something like that, like just relax. Like if you have any questions, just like seek out the professor. Like don't just stress out like too early on or too later on. Just like find that day to like relax and just like uh get yourself together. Mhm.
All right, thank you guys.
Yeah, what about you guys now? Like, are you guys dealing with anything like that, like stressors or school being too much, I guess? Or how do you guys handle that? Yeah.
I go to church and pray. Like I literally sometimes I spend like an hour in the chapel, kind of just in silence, just like, all right, let me just like take this in, just like try to relax. And then also working out. The UIC gym is really nice, and they have this little room on the side that's like it's kind of like turf, and you get to go in there, you get to do like your body weight workouts. That helps out a lot. But yeah, that's what works for me.
I used to like, honestly, I wasn't that good with like handling stress. So like I used to kind of ignore it. And so like I would take like, I remember like I was telling Juan, actually, I was telling him this today that like when I was a freshman at least, like I would let like my stress build up, and then like there would be one day where I wouldn't go. I think it was like one time it was like a Wednesday, and I didn't go to any of my classes, and I just stayed home and like I like baked a cake or something. And then the next day I was like, good to go, you know? So like that's why I feel like now at least like I don't let it build up to that point where I'm like I have to take the whole entire day off like in the middle of the week. I just, I do like little things here and there where it's like, okay, like I'll go out with my friends and like I'll try not to feel bad for it, because like those intrusive thoughts are like real, like they'll come into your mind like, oh, you should be studying right now, or like maybe I'll like take out my phone, do some flashcards, like, but like I resist the urge to do that. I like turn off my phone, I like put it down, I'll try to focus like in on the moment kind of, so that, yeah, because I feel like after I hang out with my friends or I do something that's not school related, once I get back home or once I get back to studying, I'm so much more focused, because it's like, okay, like, I had fun, and like now it's, now I'm gonna focus. So I feel like doing that really helps.
I have a question for you guys though, like, in terms of like after you graduated, how confident were you guys in your GPA? Because I know that's something that I'm kind of like stressing about right now. It's just like getting that like competitive GPA. And so, yeah, I guess how confident were you guys in that? Second, did you guys try to like make up for, I don't know, to make up like for it in the application?
I can talk about it. That was something that I was stressing as an undergrad, just because I had a lot of difficult chemistry courses. It was not my best subject, and I didn't have a great teacher, I want to say, in high school. So when I got my freshman year at UIC, I took 101, and it was like, what is this? So I struggled in the chemistry section all through undergrad. So that brought my GPA down a couple points, and I'm trying to make up for it now and in my master's program. But definitely it was something that I guess that was a stressor in my life. But after talking to a lot of people outside of UIC and talking to, graduate students, it's not that bad. It's, there's a lot of students that get accepted with, GPAs that are not the best, because the application process is not just numbers. It's not just your MCAT scoring, your GPA is also your volunteer experience, is your personal statement. Like, why do you want to be a physician? Why is it your passion? Why do you want to pursue? Is there a particular event or experience in your life? So that talks a lot about you and your aspirations of becoming a physician. There's a lot of components to the medical school application process. So don't let that deter you from, keep reaching that goal that you want to become a physician. So there's a lot of opportunities. And yeah, I realized right after graduating, I talked to people and they were like, yeah, it's not that bad. Look at these stats of these schools and stuff. They'll take you in, but they'll look at other components. So don't put too much stress on it, I want to say, because that was me back at UIC. I was really stressed about it, but don't let it get to you.
Yeah, totally. Don't make the GPA like, if you feel like that's not your strongest, like just make something else your strongest. Make your personal statement your strongest, your volunteer opportunities, or your recommendation letters. Like that could be another thing. Like there might be that one professor you feel that really got to know you, like you were in his office hours all the time. Like they could write that really excellent recommendation letter that could get you into that school that you want. It doesn't necessarily have to be your GPA.
Does anyone else have any questions for Jaime and Sonia?
Yeah, any other questions? And remember, guys, we're just we're just on post grads, like we don't have anything like, we're not like perfect at anything. We're still figuring it out ourselves. So free to ask us questions or like contact us. We're all in this together, we might apply different cycles, but at the end of the day, we're all trying to help people and help the community and be good physicians for them.
Could you guys drop down your emails so that people can contact you if they got questions?
Yeah, it could be for anything. It doesn't necessarily have to be for like medical school or anything. Like, just feel free to reach out. If you're having like a tough day or anything, just we'll find a way to help you.
Yes, definitely, especially because I feel like we can all relate here as pre-meds, like a lot of people won't understand like the kind of stress you're going through because they're not going through it. So having a community that can understand you and relate to you is very beneficial. And I feel like that's who we are here in LPMSA and who we want to be, be supportive of each other.
Exactly. Bueno. Jonathan, I think you could stop recording though.
Catch my guy.